Clutch points predicted for breakout candidates for the New York Jets in 2023, and I want to talk through it. What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. I am so excited today to talk to you about 4 potential breakout candidates. It was a list made by Clutch Points. I want to go through, see if I agree, and maybe, just maybe, if I'm feeling up to it, I might add my own candidate at the end. Wanted to mention you can follow on socials at Matt O'Leary NY. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. New episodes drop every single Wednesday. As I mentioned, it was Clutch Points who made the list, and number 1 on their list is Max Mitchell as a breakout candidate. Now, Max Mitchell, I find interesting. He came in and played as a rookie when he probably shouldn't have, and while he exceeded what my expectations were a little bit, were frankly low. I didn't think he was ready to play, and he was kind of serviceable, better suited as a rookie, as a backup. I'm not sure that he is right tackle ready to start a full 17-game season. Last year, in 6 games played, 14 pressures, 3 sacks, 3 hits, 8 hurries. He gave up a ton of pressures, unfortunately. And again, rookie in a really bad spot on what was a bad offensive line last year. I'm not going to absolutely kill him, but I think I would be surprised if he outright won the right tackle job, unless there are caveats here. Obviously, if for whatever reason Mekhi Becton is refusing to play right tackle or gets hurt, which is unfortunately on the table here, but Max Mitchell as a breakout candidate, maybe. I'm not convinced he's going to start. I think his best role, and who knows, I hope he proves me wrong. Obviously, it would be in the Jets' best interest if this guy comes in and is a stud. I want what's best for the team. My prediction / projection for Max Mitchell, I think he's going to be a long-term backup, like a better Chuma Edoga. Fair? Someone who could come in, play on either the left or right side at tackle, and just be okay in a pinch, and come in and maybe he starts 3 games for the Jets this year, but I don't think he's going to be a 17-game starter. So I don't know if I necessarily agree that he's going to be a breakout candidate. I hope so. That'd be good. The next guy I do think is someone who I could see the potential for a breakout, which is Michael Clements. He had 2.5 sacks last year and just 29% of snaps. He didn't play, and really neither did Jermaine Johnson, and maybe you could add him on this list, but Michael Clements flies under the radar a little bit more comparatively because it's a 1st round versus a 4th round pick. He had 13 total pressures last year, but the big thing for Clements is this year, he's put on a ton of size, and it's not like he gained all this weight and is just a tub of goo now hanging in the middle. No, he is still as jacked as ever and as ferocious as ever. And I think moving him inside is interesting because the Jets do this thing, and they kind of did it with JFM, where you think, okay, at his size, maybe he's better suited inside. After the 2020 season, which was abysmal, him and I thought Quinnen Williams was a really nice interior duo. And then the new staff comes in, the new regime comes in 2021, and they really like JFM outside. And that's where he played mostly on the edge the last couple of years. And he's been good. He's been, frankly, someone who I think is a little bit underrated. But Clements, I think especially on pass rushing roles, putting him or situations where it's obvious passing downs, putting him inside and letting him just get after the passer, I think there's something to it, especially if he's going to play at that bigger weight. So I could kind of get behind a little bit of a Michael Clements breakout. I don't know if he's going to play enough to where it's like, oh my God, he's giving you 8 sacks from the interior or something like that. But can he be a part of the rotation and be steady against the run and maybe give you a little bit more than 2.5, 4 sacks in a rotation role? Hell yeah, sign me up for that. Next up is Jamie Sherwood, who, as of right now, probably linebacker 3 on this team. No Quan Alexander yet. We'll see if that happens, but CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams are the Jets starting linebackers. Beyond that, Jamie Sherwood is next up. He played just 25 snaps in 2022 on the defense. He was mostly a special teamer, but he had a sack, 9 tackles, 7 stops, and I thought he looked okay filling in for CJ Mosley. But, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm a little bit worried if, God forbid, there's an injury to either Quincy or CJ Mosley and they have to miss significant time, and Jamie Sherwood being the guy to come in and play. Now, can he handle it? he could potentially, but that's the thing. He's unproven because he hasn't really played a whole lot at this level. And so a stance that I've maintained is in a year where you are trying to win a championship, I would prefer to have some veteran depth in addition to the youth. I'm not saying the youth can't play. It's just they are a little bit more of an unknown versus a veteran who's been there and done that in the league before. Jamian's interesting, though. The Jets love him. Robert Saleh talks him up pretty much any single opportunity he gets the chance to, which is, I mean, great for him. But yeah, Jamian Sherwood as a potential breakout candidate, I could see it. And Tony Adams is the last one. He played 118 snaps. He allowed 3 catches for 31 yards. He had 11 tackles, a couple of missed tackles. Now, he is probably one of their only prototypical free safeties left on this roster. We know that it's going to be a combo of veterans out there, but Tony Adams has the best chance, I think, to be the third safety. And while I would be on board with adding another veteran, similar reasons to in that linebacker room, I think Adams has the best chance, like Sherwood has the best chance to be the third guy behind those two. In fact, in a video the other day, I was talking about the Jets youth at depth at safety, obviously with Adrian Amos and Jordan Whitehead. Both those guys are going to be starters and both those guys are veterans. But beyond that, there's a lot of young guys in there. So I could see why Tony Adams makes this list. And if he has to come into play, I think I kind of like Tony Adams as a breakout a little bit more so than Jamian, because I think his ceiling is a touch higher, but this is not, overall, it's not a terrible list. I would add one more guy to this list as a under the radar breakout candidate, right? Jeremy Rucker. Do I think he's going to take over and be tight end 1? No, I think Tyler Conklin is going to hold down that fort for a little bit. I think he could really push CJ Uzomah for that tight end 2 role. I really do. Rucker was a tremendous blocker last year in a limited sample size, and he's always, for his entire career, been an underrated pass catcher. Going back to his days at Ohio State, I thought he was an underutilized pass catcher there. But one thing is for damn sure, he can block. And if you can block, you are going to find your way on the field. I really like the kid. I think he's ready for a bigger role. And he's someone they're going to bring on slowly. I know he didn't have much of a role as a rookie, but I'm not looking at him and be like, ooh, that's a waste of a 3rd round pick. I think it's way too early. They're going to bring him on slowly. Look at Dawson Knox, took a few years before he got going. Dalton Schultz is someone who took a few years before he got going. Tight end sometimes in the mid rounds, it takes him a few years. And, you know, I'm still on the Jeremy Rucker train. But anyway, I want to hear from you. What do you think of these potential breakout candidates that Clutch Points listed off? Do you agree with any? Would you add anyone to the list? Sound off. I am Matt O'Leary, and I will catch you next time.